Hi, this is Kara from KB Crochet. This tutorial will show you how to crochet the magic loop or magic ring or magic circle. I've seen it called all three. It doesn't matter what it's called, it's the same technique. And this will allow you to crochet in the round without starting using a set of chains. To do this technique, you're going to take your yarn and loop it over like you would if you were starting a project with a slip stitch. You then take your hook and insert it into that loop, and you're going to pull your yarn through. So now you're thinking, well, this is the same how I always start my crocheting, except that instead of pulling this tight, you're going to use this loop here as your main loop now. So we're going to crochet some double crochets. So we'll start by chaining 2. 1, 2. You now have the first part of your slip stitch and 2 chains. To crochet into this loop, you're going to yarn over and simply insert your hook into that loop, pull the yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. This way you don't need to worry about whether or not your loop is big enough, because this loop size is adjustable, and that's not true when you're crocheting into a set of chains. That loop is the size it is once you're done with your chains. So say you need to do 4, which is a very small number, and I doubt you will come across a pattern that has you start with 4, but it could happen. So we've got 4 double crochets. Then when we're done doing as many double crochets as we need to do, we simply take our tail and pull it tight, and the loop disappears. You may actually use that technique when you start doing like ears for stuffed animals or for character hats. So let's do that again. We have our yarn and wrap it around. So we've got a loop there. Insert our hook and pull a loop through. And this is very, very loose here. So you need to make sure you hold that. I always place my thumb right over it so that it doesn't come undone. Yarn over, pull through, and there's our chains. Again, start like you're going to do your slip stitch to attach your yarn to your hook, and then just don't pull it tight. So with my thumb out of the way, this is what you have. Again, I always hold my thumb there just because it feels more secure. This is what it looks like if you don't. And you just chain 1, chain 2, and now you're ready to crochet into that loop. And again, instead of having a stitch you insert your hook into, you yarn over it and insert it into that loop. Now you may notice that as I'm doing this, I am inserting my hook into the loop, and I'm also keeping my tail right there. So I'm crocheting over both the loop and my tail when I start. I do that just so that my tail is already tucked under when I get to the end. Let's do more than 4 this time so we can take a look at what this looks like when we're done. So there's 3. And if you are unfamiliar with double crochet or with slip stitch or with starting that slip knot, I would recommend that you go back and check out my tutorials for beginners. There's a playlist that has all of the early stitches together, or you can find it simply by going to my channel and clicking on videos. I do have a tutorial for all of those items. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so we've got 8 now. We're going to simply pull this tight, and then to complete the round, you'll insert your hook into that first double crochet. And again, I don't count those first 2 chains we do as my first double crochet. Some patterns will tell you to. I just don't like how my stitches look. And you now have your first round of stitches completed. The only downside to this particular technique is that this is not secured. And so when I first started using this, I simply crocheted over it, and then I would weave it into the next round as well. But a lot of my projects were coming unraveled. So what I typically will do is once I've finished that round, I'll take one of these stitches here, or I'll try and find one that might be even a little more hidden. Oh, we got some yarn splitting there, always good. And I'll simply I'll pull up a loop and pull through, just like I would if I was ending a project. And then once I weave that in, that knot should disappear. I know a lot of people are really against having knots in their work, but I would rather have my work secure so that it doesn't come undone when it gets washed or used, rather than worry about having a knot that can be completely hidden. If you have any questions about how to do the magic loop or magic ring, magic circle, whatever you want to call it, please feel free to leave that question or any question you may have about crochet in the comment section of this video. If you're looking for additional tutorials or pattern tutorials, please check out my channel. Otherwise, I have written patterns and links to my tutorials posted on my blog, kbcrochet@wordpress.com. The link to that blog is in the description for this video. Thank you and happy crocheting!